If I could share one tip with you today, in which I believe will take your business to the next level, what would it be? One of the most powerful things that you own is your story. It doesn't matter if you are a business owner. It doesn't matter if you are a content creator. It doesn't matter if you are a speaker. People absolutely love to know about you. If we were all honest, all of us are looking for inspiration. We're all looking for motivation. We're all looking for the steps which show us how to create, how to do, and how to be better than what we are today. We crave connection. And that's what your story does. It connects you to your audience. And that's going to be the thing that sets you apart. Your marketing is more important than your mastery. What does that mean? You can have the best service. You can have the best product. You can create the most efficient system in the market. But until people really know who you are and know what you do, could it be that it's all in vain? So what am I saying to you? It's okay that you don't start off perfectly right away. Now, of course, you want to make it as excellent as possible when you do come to market. But again, your marketing is more important than your mastery. We all want to be a success. We all need motivation. And at times in our life, we all need inspiration. That's where I come in. I'm a cheerleader of sorts. I like doing it. I like helping people, and I like encouraging them to be their absolute best. And happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Hey, it's Kisa. It's Coach K. I hope that you are having a fantastic Sunday. What do you think about my digs? I spent some time making sure that I organized everything. And in fact, let me go ahead and remove. So KisaSharp.com, life coaching. I want you to see that. And hey, to those of you who are joining me tonight, please go ahead and share out the video, like the video. That's the only thing we ask you for. That's, I guess, in order to get the message to more people, quite simply, just what we're sharing in order to help someone. But I want you to see everything. So look, I've got the microphone here. I did a little bit of decorating just for you all tonight because I knew I'd have some company. What do you think? What do you think? Did I do a good job, or should I have gone to another location? Like, is it yay or nay? And by the way, you would help me out immensely just to get some feedback from you all, just to make sure that you all can hear and that everything is okay on your end. But again, I am Kisa. I am Coach K. It is so, so good to be here tonight. I will not be very long, but I just thought it'd be great to do a kickback. After all of the information that I've shared over the past couple of weeks. And I have news for you. I'm not done yet. So if you thought I was done, think again. I'm not done yet, y'all. It has been so good to be able to share. And it's really, on a serious note, it's been so good to be able to help so many people. Dealing in and narcissism, I get it, is the word that I'm using for the hour. I like to say there's such things as buzzwords in the life coaching industry. We have buzzwords, but emotional abuse as a whole is a very serious matter. And it's not something that's just limited to women. Men are also emotionally abused by women. Men are also psychologically abused. Okay, so it's not just a one-way street. It is something that is very real. And from my studies, I have understood that psychological abuse could be, and often is, more devastating than even physical abuse. Because with physical abuse, at least we know what we're dealing with. With psychological abuse, oftentimes, and y'all, I'm just kind of pulling up some information here on my phones, but with psychological abuse, oftentimes, we cannot tell some people cannot tell that they are actually being abused. So that's the dangerous part of that. Okay, very dangerous. Make sure. It often is. Okay, yeah. You all are hearing me just fine. So I was just double checking that. So anyway, again, who am I? I am Kisa. I am Kisa Sharp. I am Coach K. I am a long-time communicator. I have almost 30 years invested in the game. 30 years as a broadcaster, okay? The last 28 or so here spent in the city of Birmingham. All of my communications career has basically been spent here in Birmingham, with the exception of about 2 years and then my schooling, my undergraduate schooling. Otherwise, Birmingham, I'm yours, baby. Montgomery native, but Birmingham, I am yours. So that is the large majority of my history. The other part is that I am also an Alabama maker. I am the founder and creator of allshaynaturals.com. I share that because we just happen to have a sale going on right now at allshaynaturals.com. You can head on over there and get you a little discount. And I actually bumped it up a little bit to 30% off. Allshaynaturals.com. I bumped it up to 30% off. So I'm going to post the website. In fact, why don't I go ahead and do that for you? Just go ahead and post the website. So that's the second part of what I do. And the third part of what I do, and the final part is, you say as if that's not enough, right? The final part is that I am, and here's the website for allshaynaturals.com. The final part of what I do, and it's never final, Lord, because your legacy lives on, and your work that you do, it's always continual. You really can't retire from your calling. So the other part of that is coaching and teaching. I am a life coach to my heart. I just believe if I know something, I'm going to teach you. If I have something, I'm going to share it with you, all for the good, never to expose, never to damage. One thing you will never say, I tuned in and listened to one of your videos or one of your programs, Kisa, and I heard you mention so-and-so. Yeah, you were saying that this was one of your clients. You'll never hear me say that. You understand? You'll never hear me say that unless I'm using a character, which is for teaching purposes only. But under a strict code of confidentiality, and I value my clients. So with that being said, all of the information that you need has been shared. We're going to dive right in, okay, for the kickback today. You can grab you some snacks if you want to just kind of, let the audio play and all that kind of stuff. Go grab you some snacks. Again, share out, like the video. If it's something that you wouldn't benefit from, but you know that someone would, then like and share the broadcast. That would be a huge help. That's all we ask. But for, I guess, the better part of the past 2 weeks, or a little they're over, I've been looking at narcissistic abuse. Was working at Creed 63, which is my home away from home, I call it. And it just sort of came to me as I was working there one day. You deal in this space a lot with your clients in terms of emotional abuse, in terms of narcissistic abuse. So why not share information which can be a blessing to some other people? Ding! It's like, why not share some videos? Why not share some information which can help people? Because a lot of times people suffer in silence. That's why the abuse is allowed to go on for so long, because they're suffering in silence. No one is witnessing, or they feel that no one understands what they're going through. Couldn't be farther from the truth. Or sometimes we just need to hear the right thing from the right person, because there are plenty of people who are dealing with the subject, plenty. But I understand that, we understand in the coaching space that we're called to certain people. So I'm not called to everyone. Neither is any other coach. We're not called to everyone. So we have to make sure that we are doing what we need to do to reach our clients. So with that said, I started covering some information on the stages of narcissistic abuse. And forgive me if I cough or do any of that, y'all. I am getting over a cold, so please, please, please bear with me, okay? Excuse me. But I started off with a video on the stages of narcissistic abuse, okay? Just opening up some revelation around what it looks like, particularly for those who are in a relationship. Now, it could be different as it relates to it can occur in any kind of relationship, but particularly looking for those who are in a committed relationship. And in fact, I'm going to pull it up here online because I did about a 4 or 5 part series on that first series. And with the feedback that I received, y'all, I knew I'd had to keep going, that I had to keep going with it. I couldn't just stop. I couldn't just, and I'm just showing you here some of the things that I covered and how it looked or whatever. The different stages, devaluation and different things like that. Uh, Under You Could Be Dating a Narcissist, that was the series. Love bombing, devaluation, rejection. Oh gosh, what's another phase? The discard phase. Okay, all of the things that go with that, things like gaslighting, things like the love bombing, just all sorts of good information. It is posted to my page. It is there. So you need not worry about whether or not it's there. It's there. Please tune in. If you missed it, no problem. You can go back and catch it. I will leave that posted there because I think it's important information for you to go back and you can kind of catch up, or you can see if there's anything that you missed. Or I believe when you're talking about something of this magnitude, sometimes you have a picture, and for lack of a better word, you're putting a picture together. And when you're putting that picture together, you sometimes are able to or need to go back and look at the information in the videos before then. Okay, it's kind of like any sort of study in a book. You normally don't just jump in the middle of the book. You can with good books, you can jump in anywhere, but it makes you, or you want to go back to the beginning and read it all the way through to put the picture together. So I would encourage you to do that. So that was the first week. Now, the first week we talked about the fact that you could be dating a narcissist. And please keep in mind, and you'll hear me say this often, I've said it before. So if you've heard me say it, please indulge me. If you have not heard me say it, you'll understand why. Okay? I ask you to listen out of both sets of your ears. The ears right here, okay, your natural ears, and also the ears to your heart, okay? Because there are lessons in it and there's information in it that is not limited to those who are dating. It gives you information on just dealing with a person who has narcissistic tendencies, period. So if you are, and even if it's not narcissism, what if you're dealing with someone else who has another personality disorder, or who's just not treating you right? Let's not be that technical. What if they're just not treating you right in that relationship? That's okay. Had you covered with that as well too. Okay. What I'm saying I don't want us to get icky picky on the technical things. I'm just letting you know that that was the title, but it can help you if you listen, okay? And if you're dealing with any sort of abuse, it gives tactics on things that manipulators and abusers do. And trust me, I still didn't even go that deep with it. I covered a lot, but I still could have gone much deeper, which is why I'll have an announcement for you following this. So that second week, once I got into it, I thought, oh boy, there's more information that needs to be shared. So guess what? I did just that, just going through the information that I shared, y'all, like what rejection looks like and all of that great stuff and how we wrapped it up. Shout out to Keith and Joe. That's our show there. You could be dating a narcissist as we move forward. So last week I went through and covered a very specific portion of this series as well. Okay. I'm just going through my Facebook page, y'all. So indulge me here. But last week, each night, we covered some topics on you could be dating a narcissist. It started here, which was last between Sunday or Monday. And I basically gave you a 5-step action plan in order to recover from narcissistic abuse. A 5-step action plan in order to recover from narcissistic abuse. So I was hoping that one of my videos would actually pull up here. But that's okay. That's okay. That's all right. We won't worry about that. We'll just kind of keep it moving with that and just close that off. But anyway, all of that information is on my page, so you're able to check that out if you are interested in that. So why am I here today? I wanted to make sure to give you some information. And I call it the kickback because questions come up. And, when I record those videos, people will either inbox me or some of my friends just may pick up the phone and ask me a question like, what do you think about this? Or, Are you referencing yourself? In fact, let's go ahead and get to it. Here are my questions right here, okay? Right here. What are some of the questions? So, and if you have any questions, you're welcome to ask too. Sometimes I know you want to be anonymous with it, so I don't know if you're really comfortable in putting it there in the chat. But you certainly can send a question, and I will do my best to address it. So here's question number one. Let's get right into it. What other types of abusive behavior is involved in narcissism? What other types of abusive behavior is involved in narcissism? The person was basically asking, did I give a complete list when I talked about the rejection and when I talked about the gaslighting and when I talked about the love bombing? Absolutely not. The list is incredibly long. When you talk about a person who's narcissistic in nature, it can get really extensive. There is a manipulative element that's there. So any behavior that goes under manipulating and controlling behavior could be looked at that. It can be anything from controlling finances. It could be anything from controlling your time to controlling your whereabouts to trying to even control your thoughts. That's what gaslighting is about. But here's what I can tell you as a general rule. Anytime that a person's behavior crosses the line with you, anytime that a person's behavior feels exceedingly uncomfortable for you, anytime a person's behavior puts you in a position where you are made to feel less than, your judgment or your character is questioned, while they go unscathed or you're not able to apply the same questioning to them, that's a lopsided dynamic, and that is not a healthy relationship. So again, the first question was, what other types of abusive behavior is involved in narcissism? The list is exhaustive, and I did not cover a complete list. But again, if I had to give an umbrella to it, again, any act, any wording, anything that's done to you, for you, because sometimes people even manipulate us in the things that they do for us. Thank you. This just came up, so I'll share. Have you ever been on a dinner date and you go out and this gentleman who may or may not know you as long. I had this happen one time actually. He had the audacity to order for me. I think I stepped away and went to the restroom or something like that, or said, let me come back. He said, well, I went ahead and ordered for you because I know what you like. Okay, that did not, maybe he thought that was impressing me, but it didn't impress me. Not one bit. That, in my opinion, was a subtle control play. I'll take care of it. Don't you worry about it. I got it. I already know. You haven't known me for 6 months, but his actions were, I already know what you want. As if you can read my mind. I walked in there thinking, I don't know what I want, especially because the restaurant had such a plethora of choices. I'm thinking, I don't know what I want, but this guy knows what I want. Okay. I was like, check. And when I left, I was like, I won't be going on another date with him. Any action in which you feel uncomfortable, any action in which you feel that your rights are being infringed upon, controlled, or manipulated, it can be narcissistic in nature. And as always, I'll issue this caveat as well. Is everything narcissistic? Absolutely not. It certainly is not. Every action is not narcissistic in nature, okay? So we have to be really careful in assigning that title to different things too. But are there things which are narcissistic in nature? You bet your darn tootin'. Don't ask me where that came from. It just came up out of me. But seriously, yeah, there are definitely things which are narcissistic in nature. And let me also say this and add this and remind you. Most people who are dealing with an issue of narcissism or who are clinically diagnosed narcissists are rarely going to have a medical diagnosis to back them. I am actually subscribed to a channel in which I was listening to a gentleman who says that he is a clinically diagnosed narcissism. I thought, that's brave, but I also understood that that is uncommon. Maybe, am I alone out here by myself? Has anyone ever known of a person who is a narcissist to be a clinically diagnosed narcissist? It happens and it's there. And kudos to them, because to a degree, when you know that that is your challenge. Oh, hey, Tarek. Hey, T. How you doing? Hey, friend. Good to see you. I hope you are well, you and your family. When a person is narcissistic in nature, normally they are not going to reveal. We'll just, why don't we say that? Normally they're not going to reveal nor even face that. So kudos even to those who even do that, or who even go in that direction and even want to receive counseling for it. Now listen. There are women who are narcissistic. There are women narcissists as well. So please don't hear Kisa banging up on the guys on one side. I'm on both sides, okay? And there are people, because as humans, let me also add this in, we are selfish by nature. So as humans, we probably, many of us, have exhibited some narcissistic traits. That's very possible. Many of us have exhibited some narcissistic traits because we're human, and it just kind of goes with the territory to think self first. An evolved person, which, by the way, speaking of evolved, do you like my sign Evolve? That is the show in which I host every Friday at midday, sort of your midday break on Friday for something positive, uplifting, and refreshing. So tune in for that. Shout out to comedian Free You for that creation. She created it just for me, that Evolve. But yes, there are some people who are evolved enough to say that, yes, I have a problem in that arena. Most aren't. No condemnation either way. All right, we move on to question numero uno. If I can find question number 2. Yes, here we go. Would these only apply being a narcissist, dating a narcissist, or recovering from a narcissist, or this information even? Would this only apply to a husband-wife dynamic? Absolutely not. Narcissism can manifest itself in any relationship, any relationship, okay? Any relationship dynamic. So no. It often manifests in a relationship. Well, let me clarify this. We think of it in terms of a marriage because you have normally unlimited, often engaging relations with that person on a continuous basis. So normally we look at it in terms of a marital relationship or a dating relationship, but it's certainly not limited to that. That's a great question, because sometimes people can tune out and say, "Oh, I don't have to deal with that." And I was very persnickety about the title, in the sense that, saying you could be dating a narcissist, because my goal was that if you see something, say something. If you see something at the dating phase, say something. It doesn't go away. If you decide to marry or continue the relationship, it doesn't go away. In fact, it magnifies, really and truly, it magnifies. So if you see something at the dating phase, say something. And again, go back and take a look at the series. You could be dating a narcissist. And thirdly, what are some steps practically to move on if you feel you have no hope? What would you advise? If you, again, third question, what would you advise a person to do? How to move on, okay? If they feel that there is no hope. And I'll conclude on this question because I think it's a great question. And I covered this too last week. The first thing that I would say is just to put yourself in a situation, if you feel that you're invested in something which has discouraged you, you feel that there is no hope, I would say put yourself in a position to get hope. What does that mean? Put yourself in a position to get hope. Put yourself in a position, get around people, get out of your routine. A lot of times when we're dealing with a challenge, we're dealing with that challenge because we have not appropriately, okay, we have not appropriately put safeguards in place to protect us. Because I can almost assure you that if a person is dealing with a narcissistic relationship, with abuse from a narcissistic relationship, oftentimes that person is isolated. Oftentimes that person's self-esteem is a little bit lower, okay? And it's been lowered by abuse from that person, intentionally or unintentionally, but it's been lowered. So when you talk about a person who's depressed, who's off their game, it's almost like a person who's challenged with sickness. You know, I was challenged this week with a sinus issue. So as a result of being challenged, I was a little bit off my game, a little bit off my rocker. So you're a little more tired. You start backing back from activity. You start backing back from friends. You start backing back away from the people and things that can help you. So what's the first thing, putting this all together and putting a nice bow on top of this package? What am I saying? I'm saying do something. You have a will, and your will can decide to do something different. If you're a faith-based person, that may mean go to church. Well, I already go to church. Okay. Can you contact a trusted, let me say it again for feeling, trusted confidant from your church family or from a group at your church? Can you contact a trusted confidant and ask them to pray for you? And here's where you have to be wise. You may ask for prayer, and you can say a relational matter, but sometimes you have to be wise about diving deep. But the Spirit of God, I believe, will guide you. And I will also say, I believe that exposure is what brings life and light. Sometimes we just need to expose. Listen, if you're in a relationship and if you're married, every married person has had a challenge. And if they have not, they're lying. You get far away from as fast as you can, because where two people are involved, there will be conflict at some point. It doesn't have to be contentious conflict, but where two people are involved, there will be conflict, okay? Ask the elders of the church to recommend a couple that they trust or who give marital advice. You frequently see that, okay? So do something different. If you feel that there's no hope, and I can also tell you that it's likely that you haven't gotten out in nature and just gone to walk. You haven't done something that really pleased you, whether it's gone to the movies or whether it's just, wrap up everything a little early that night, including working with the kids and all of that stuff, and watching a favorite movie and just resting, or giving yourself a pedicure, or giving yourself a facial at home, just, or throwing a plug for All Shay, getting you a fabulous body scrub, right? Getting you a fabulous body scrub at allshaynaturals.com, okay, where we have 30% off with code SUMMER. Shameless plug. But getting you a body scrub, getting you something to pamper yourself, to start you feeling good about yourself again. Because remember, all of this is aimed at taking away from you. And day by day, little by little, these things chip away at how we feel. They chip away at our esteem. They chip away at our well-being. So the challenge that I'll leave you with today, I thought the question was really, really good. And I welcome your questions. Just kicking back with you a little bit on this Sunday. Just kicking back. Nothing long, nothing strong, but just my personal thank you. But do something different, because it all chips away at you, at your self-esteem. But you are I was about to, in the words of my pastor, my spiritual father, I was about to say, you are a tripartite being, okay? You're a spirit, you have a soul, and you live in a body. Why am I saying that? You have the ability to make a decision. You have a decision, and you have an ability to make a decision. And there are times that we have to make decisions even when we don't feel like it. There are times we have to do things even when we don't feel like it. Have you ever made a dietary choice? Have you ever made a decision to abstain from eating a certain food, maybe during Lent, or if your church is having a fast? Ask me why I'm thinking about that, because we're in the middle of a 21-day fast. Have you ever thought about that? Have you ever thought about giving up something? You don't always feel like it. You just do it. So that's what I'm asking you to do. You have to get out of the place in which you currently are. Sometimes freeing your mind, watching a nice movie, or just calling up a friend that you haven't called in a while. Well, I hadn't called them, so they say everybody says I left them, and they really don't want to talk to me. Nah. They're your family, they're your friends, they'll love you. They may feel some kind of way, and they may be a little salty at first, but true love never dies. Let me rephrase that, because yeah, it does. But an agape kind of love never dies. And at the end of the day, if we're connected to a person, if God is connected to us, God has connected them to us, their love for you will not die based on an error that you have made. Been there, look, y'all, been there, done that. Get all wrapped up in a situation, situationship, relationship, personship. Just get wrapped up, just get wrapped up and just, forget yourself. God never intended for any of us to do that. So the call really today is to get back to you. And I don't care how loving a person is. I don't care how magnifico they are. You still have a call on your life. You still have a purpose on your life. And at the end of the day, we all will be held accountable for that. So what am I saying? This is the tough love side, okay? I want you to understand I'm empathetic, and I understand the challenges that go with breaking free, particularly from these sorts of relationships, narcissistic relationships and such. But also, we have a responsibility. We have a great responsibility. And this leads me right over into what I'll be covering next week. And that is how we open the door to these narcissistic relationships. What are we doing? I'm glad you asked, because I will be sharing that with you. But you have a responsibility. You're deep, deep, deep in a deep, dark place. There's hope, and you can get out. It starts with a decision, as simple as that. I'm getting up from here today. I'm going to dress up today, and I'm going to go out, and I'm going to take myself out to eat. My mate, my person, my date, my baby daddy, my baby mama may not have decided to do anything for me, but I can do something for myself. Yes, you can. Start with a decision. I think that's the best way that I said. I feel like that was a long way to get there. I circled around a lot, and I don't mean to do that. But that's what I would say. I would say start with a decision and then do it. Always so good to see you. I am Kisa. I am Coach K. And I want you to stay tuned, because next week, the love continues, okay? We're going to talk about some things that you are doing, maybe unintentionally, maybe unwittingly, unknowingly, to open yourself up to a narcissistic relationship, okay? All right. Thank you for your time. For those of you who are joining me by watching the replay, I would love for you to be able to hit replay, and you can still share it out as well. It is always so helpful. I am wishing you the absolute best. We will talk soon. Stay tuned to my page each night at 6 o'clock, Monday through Friday. What you're doing to open the door to a narcissistic relationship. I'll see you soon, y'all. Bye-bye.